Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to our second ever podcast that we're doing. So this is something new that we're trying. Kind of took a little longer than expected to get the second episode going, but pretty happy to be here. Once again, we have Morgan Wilson. We have Kia Shaw. And Ali, I don't know how to say your last name. How do you say it?
Dufault.
Dufault. Oh, yeah. Ali
Mhm.
Dufault. Ali, can you just introduce yourself for us real quick?
Sure. I'm Allie. I'm the volunteer coordinator here in Meridian. I've been working for the food bank for a little over 4 years now. Which is kind of incredible. I didn't think I planned on being here for maybe 2 years or something, but I just love the job so much that I'm just still going and it rocks. So that is me.
Awesome. Thanks, Ali, for joining us. Morgan, what's your title again?
I serve as the Chief Development Officer here at the Idaho Foodbank, and I will be celebrating my 10-year anniversary in February.
Awesome. Wow, that's super cool. We'll have to do something for that.
I have big plans. No, I don't, Matt.
No.
So bring on the creativity.
All right,
I'll get your
talk to
plan. It's
Rebecca. Yeah.
Perfect.
And Kia, what do you do for the food bank at the food bank?
I am the Eastern Idaho branch manager for the Idaho Food Bank, and I have been here it'll be 9 years in July for me. So
Awesome. Well, thank
We
you all
just
for
round you up and do like a joint thing.
it works. It's fine.
Yeah, right. Round up. Cool. So speaking of rounding up, we have a lot of holiday campaigns. Awful transition. Cut that. I'm gonna cut that.
That was a good one. I
Holiday
thought that
roundup.
was
You thought it worked? Anyway, that's what we're gonna be talking about today. A lot of our holiday campaigns, which include lots of store roundups. We're gonna kind of just do a general overview of everything going on, and then we're also gonna talk about ways to get involved. So different opportunities to support the Idaho Food Bank. And we're really cool to have Ali talk a little bit more about volunteering specifically and what that looks like, since that's totally her area. So anyway, before we kind of get into the main topic, let's just do a quick icebreaker. So the question is, what has been your favorite Idaho Food Bank moment over the holidays? So yeah, we're right now in our busy holiday season. Had lots of stuff going on. So what's been your favorite experience? Morgan, I'll go your way first.
Okay, perfect. I know I asked for this icebreaker and then I had a horrible time deciding and picking one. So I was like, oh, do we want to talk about like an impactful moment with a neighbor or just something that was super funny? So I probably cheated and overthought this, but the holidays are such an amazing time to be part of the food bank. And I know for those of us who have been here, it's just kind of a magical time because we get to see all the great things about community, right? We get to see the outpouring of support and we get to see that across all demographics and people just doing whatever they can to support their neighbors. And so it really is a hard one to answer. But when I was kind of going back through my memory and mainly thinking of like funny things over the holidays, because it's just so much activity, I was remembering one of our events that we used to run in downtown. And it was an outdoor event on Black Friday. It's empty bowls, which you can still participate on in line or online. But at this event, I had the opportunity to meet this couple. And I met them because they were kind of wandering around this event that was very food centered where we would be serving soup. And I could just kind of tell like there was something going on. And I went and spoke to them. And unfortunately, they were going through a time of homelessness. And they had a little guy with them, just over a year old in his stroller, all bundled up in more blanket layers than I can remember. And they had a fair number of their possessions with them. And, that's such a hard thing, right? We're in like kind of this celebratory event mode, but at the end of the day, we're there to make an impact. And so I was able to sit with this couple and hear a little bit about their struggle of trying to stay together during their time of homelessness. And the great thing is that we were able to make it a happier time for them. We gave them some soup. We were able to bring over one of our team members who ultimately connected them to a homeless shelter that was able to have them in. And of course, we really hope that that turned out well for them. So it was this awesome moment with a neighbor impact. But the other great thing that made this memory like come to mind is that it was so cold, guys. It was a Black Friday and I don't even think it came above like 25 that year. And so I threw all fashion to the wind, and I was definitely wearing a full-on like white ski like snowsuit the whole time. And like I had this awesome beanie on and my hood, and it was not TV cool at all, but just the sheer number of comments that I got and the staff just looking at me like, hey, crazy sauce, you're supposed to like step up your game. It made me like really enjoy that memory. So that was that was a happy holiday memory.
Yeah, get a mix of funny and heartfelt. Pretty good story. Yeah, you're gonna have to kick that to me for the newsletter sometime. Like that's really a story. Yeah. Very, very powerful. Thanks for that. Kia, what has been your favorite food bake moment over the holidays?
Mine actually happened this year. So every November we do this crazy event, well, the beneficiaries of a crazy event called Cranksgiving, which is a way we can do a distribution for Bannock County residents, which we'll talk about later. But this year we had a number of new staff members with IFB there. And I got the pleasure of watching them watch how this all happens, because no matter how many times I explain it leading up to it, people look at me like I'm crazy sauce, because there is quite a bit of planning that goes into it. And keep in mind, like we've been doing it up at the same location for now 9 years. And I've been a part of that every time. So we've kind of gotten to the point of like fine tuning it. But I still get like, that's not going to work. That's not going to happen. And so watching staff members just kind of like watch how this all works and how all the wheels work and how all the cogs engage with each other. It was really fun because I watched their faces go from 2.
Oh my gosh.
And so it was really entertaining for me. But then also as the day continued on, I watched them kind of not get filled with sadness, but just they could see the impact of what was happening, because at that distribution, we serve over 1,100 families in about a 4-hour period. And just how emotional some of them would get, because it was a huge impact and such an amazing thing to watch and be a part of. And then, fashion goes to the wind, because no matter how much I will it to be a beautiful day, it was not a beautiful day in the weather. So I ended up on TV in my ridiculous jester hat that I get to wear that day, because it's orange and black and everyone can know where I am then. But then also this massive bear jacket that is huge and heavy, and I look ridiculous. And so, Morgan, I understand the fashion goes to the wind when weather comes first.
Yeah.
Right? Like you got to be real.
Yeah.
That's
Nobody
awesome.
cares at that moment.
Awesome. Yeah, Thanksgiving is definitely one of our bigger and more fuller, if I could say that, events, and we'll definitely be talking about that a little bit more later. Ali, what's been your favorite food bake moment?
Well, I was thinking about this question too, and it's a great question, because there are so many good moments. I'm fortunate enough to work with like a massive amount of people all the time, and we have so many volunteers who are regulars who come in every week or every couple weeks or twice a week, and so there are so many moments that like they wouldn't be specifically holiday related. There are so many moments, no matter what time of the year, where you're just like, that is incredibly touching to see. Like one of them that I was thinking of earlier that happened a couple of months ago is this one guy who volunteers all the time. He's a twice a weeker volunteer, and this is his thing. He comes to the food bank to volunteer. Everybody knows him. He talks to everyone. He has a special, like a helping service that he uses to get to the food bank. It's like a bus that takes him to the food bank, and the company stopped providing that ride for him to be able to come to the food bank. And so he was saying, like, he wasn't trying to make a big deal of it or anything. And he was like, hey, I might miss the next little while because I can't figure out my ride situation. It's just, but we'll work it out. Next thing I know, I keep seeing him coming to the food bank, and I didn't realize this until recently, but the regulars that, they all just met volunteering, they've been taking turns driving him to the food bank and driving him home
So
so
sweet.
that he can come. And it's just like, I don't know, my faith in humanity has just skyrocketed since working here. Just because you see those moments all the time. It's not just holiday related or anything. I don't know, people are amazing. And so he comes and he's able to volunteer at his same schedule all the time. And he's a delightful human, and it's always good to have him. So
Yeah.
That's one of those things that it makes me feel really happy that he can do that, and
That
have a
is
support
cool.
system. Mhm.
Yeah, awesome story. I will say that working at a food bank, especially this time of year, is very fulfilling, definitely. And I'm glad to be here, especially with all of the everything going on in the outside world, right? The political climate. Like I think having stories like this to warm the heart is really, really important. So yeah, that's super cool. Thanks for sharing. I forgot to introduce myself earlier. I'm Matt, the content and digital communications coordinator at the food bank, and I'm sort of the host for this. And so let's see, my favorite holiday moment. So specifically, I really enjoyed the Great Idaho Food Drive. I think that's super fun. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But pretty much, Schwab Tires, they host the food drive for us, and then they pack it all up and bring it over in a parade of trucks, essentially, to the food bank. And it's like a pretty cool spectacle thing. I'll definitely get a video out about it. And then we just watch the parade come in, and all the staff and volunteers help unload it and everything. I believe this year they brought 21,000 pounds of food, a little bit over that, which is really cool. So it is cold, but I'm getting used to it. And so
Mhm.
yeah, so that was fun. Speaking of campaigns and events, um, Morgan, would you mind just giving us an overview about some of the main campaigns we have going on? So holiday roundup just across the state, and you could talk about some stuff going on in Southwest, right? So like the Great Idaho Food Drive. What else do we have going on right now?
Oh my gosh. So, like everybody's been talking about, the holidays are a pretty magical time to be at the food bank because we have so much going on as people really think front and center about how they want to give back to their community, how do they want to help others. And we're really fortunate to often be the place that they look to do that. So, we have campaigns and events happening across the state that we would love people to get involved with. The easiest way to do that is just to head over to our website and check out our events page. You can sort that about a bazillion different ways because of our awesome team. But you can check out events happening in the Lewiston area. You can scroll over and look at things that are happening in Pocatello. And then, of course, a wide variety of things that are happening in Boise. But, it's important for people to know we are a philanthropically based organization, meaning that it's the everyday people that allow us to do the work that we do. It's the corporations hosting food and fund drives and providing sponsorships, and the foundations giving us gifts, and the schools and Girl Scout troops raising food and funds for us that allow us to do what we do. And so the holidays are a really critical time for us because hunger doesn't know a season. And so it's important we fundraise year round to help our neighbors. But during the holidays is a really critical time because we're raising that money that we need to make sure we can help people during this holiday time to make their season a little bit brighter, but also into the new year where sometimes the fundraising really slows down and we need to be able to have those resources to make sure that hunger and hunger relief, more importantly, doesn't have a seasonality to it. So, so I'll just say this is a really critical time. If anyone out there hasn't participated in giving back to their community, we hope you will do so. You can get involved by basically shopping just about anywhere. If you go to your Albertsons, if you go to your Fred Meyer's, Stinker stores, your Mavericks, all those places are inviting you to round up on your purchase or to make a donation right there when you're already swiping your card or, paying for your items. And that money goes right back into hunger relief organizations. Now, we're the beneficiary of a lot of that, but it's important to note that that money might also be going to other nonprofits in your community or in your area that, again, are supporting hunger relief activities. So easy ways to get involved that way. Check out our website. Again, there's all sorts of stores that will do pick days where they're giving back to the community. And whether it's the food bank or another organization, we really hope that you'll get involved. Some other things that are going on. Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
Oh no, I just was gonna ask about like there's specific campaigns or like fundraisers, right, that you're really close to or you really enjoy being a part of.
Oh my gosh. Well, I don't think I could pick just one because there's
Okay.
so many fun ones
Yeah.
that are going on. Like I said, lots of store-based campaigns. We have an awesome campaign going on with Idaho Pizza Company right now, where
Hmm.
you again can make that donation right when you're also getting your food. You can make a food donation at all of those locations. And it's just a really easy way to give back to the community, but also showcase, if you've got the kids with you or you've got relatives, to talk about maybe why you give back to hunger relief. So it's more than just the food and funds. It's also about raising awareness for the community.
Yeah,
We also have our
totally.
Empty Bowls event. So I could go on and on, but I think we want to hear from other places too. But needless to say, lots of ways to get involved, and we need everyone's help to make sure we can help our neighbors.
Yeah, totally. Check out the events page on the website. That's a great place to start to see those specific campaigns. And there's lots of clickable links where you can see who's participating around you in your area for sure. So, Kia, what is going on in eastern Idaho? You talked a little bit about Thanksgiving. What else has been going on? I've heard quite a bit of noise in that region.
Gee, I wonder why. Yeah. So for Eastern Idaho, November is a very, very busy month, which is awesome. None of my staff complains by any sense of the imagination because it is just amazing to watch the communities around here rally. So kicking things off, November 1st kicked off Thanksgiving, which is a turkey drive that is hosted by Barry Ski and Sports, and various other organizations across southeastern Idaho help support this event by either donating turkeys or funds for it. But really, it is a turkey drive to raise 1,000 turkeys that then turn around and benefit our Thanksgiving distribution for Bannock County. Alongside that happening, Give the Cops a Bird happens, which I cannot get over that name because the Pocatello Police Department are the ones who came up with it several years ago. And that is a turkey and fund drive, again, sponsored by the Pocatello Police Department, where they raise funds and bring in turkeys for the holiday season, which they actually just dropped off and did a check presentation for that yesterday. They brought in $3,500 this year, which is amazing. We're very grateful for the Pocatello Police Department and all the organizations and community residents who help support that event. But then all of those things help lead up into that Bannock County distribution, the Thanksgiving distribution that we do the Saturday before Thanksgiving. And because of that distribution, we were able to serve over 1,150 Bannock County residents a Thanksgiving meal. We can only do that because of that event, because of that Thanksgiving event, because of the holiday food fight that we do in beginning of October, which is a very specific food drive with organizations to bring in a certain amount of Thanksgiving items. It's a fun little competition that they do, and whoever wins gets lunch and treats on us, and a fun little trophy that gets created in-house every year. And more importantly, though, we can't do that distribution without the 240 volunteers that we had this year. It really is a massive undertaking to do, but the amount of community support that goes around all of those activities it really is heartwarming to see how many people want to help their community and want to support their community. And Kyle, our development coordinator, has some amazing footage between pictures and videos that he was able to take that day. And just seeing how efficient these volunteers are and seeing how happy they are to be standing in the freezing rain for a couple hours, loading cars with turkeys and produce and dry bags, like all these things. And it really is amazing to watch and see. But one of my favorite stories out of Thanksgiving it was a tie between, I wanted to share this earlier or now, so I'm sharing it now. Part of Thanksgiving, they raise funds because then Barry's will go and buy the turkeys from a local grocer at a reduced cost. But there was a young man and his sister were challenged by their grandfather that for every A they got in school, he would give them so much money. Well, for this young man's sister, it wasn't a hard thing. School was easy for her. But for this young man, it was a bit of a stretch and a struggle, but he did it. And together they raised over $1,500 for Thanksgiving, which
Wow.
I'm
That's
up at
amazing.
I'm up
Yeah.
at the fairgrounds in freezing temperatures, setting things up, and one of my drivers just sending me pictures and stories, and I'm like, I can't do this right now. My tears are gonna freeze. But it was so amazing to understand the why behind it. And I was like,
Mhm.
that gives me hope for the future for humanity when we have children who have this heart of, I really want to try so I can give back to my community. So that was one of my favorite moments out of it. And while all of that was going on, ISU and U of I were in the middle of the Tackle the Hunger game, which brought in, you know, a good amount of food for Benny's Pantry here locally, and then funds also for the Idaho Foodbank. And so, you know, we get to celebrate November with all of these fantastic things, and we go right into December with the KPVI and Cole Chevrolet, Nissan, and Nissan Kia food drive, Drive Away Hunger, which will be this Friday at Fred Meyer. So that'll be a whole lot of fun also.
Yeah.
So many awesome examples, right? Of just so many ways to get involved. I do have to throw out U of I definitely won that game. Whoop!
That's what I've heard. Yeah.
Fine. We're not upset here. It's fine.
You know, friendly competition. We're all about friendly competition, but all help neighbors in need, right?
At the end of the day, it's helpful. That's what we're going for. You made an impact. We're good.
Right, exactly. And we love all teams that participate because, you know, we also had Boise State and doing their work with Sacks for Hunger.
Mhm.
And so they actually just provided us a $20,000
Wow.
gift based on all of our BSU players going in there and getting sacks all season long. So proof there's just
That is
awesome people doing awesome things.
Since we're talking about volunteering, that's one of the many ways to get involved. Earlier, Morgan talked about donating, supporting the food and fun drives, which you are also welcome to put on as a member of the community or general public. You go to our website, and if you go to get involved there, there's an option to start your own food and fun drive, and you're welcome to do that as well. We have tons of those, and usually when I see them, I'll try to give a shout out on social media. But yeah, volunteering is another cool way to get involved. Ali, I'm gonna go to you with this one. I have all sorts of follow-up questions, but can you just tell us what volunteering is like? I know it's a little general, but we could kind of get into it specifically after that. Yeah, what's
I
that
can go
volunteer
in-
experience like?
Yeah, I can go general and specific, and you can
Let's
ask
do it.
all the questions you want to ask because I love talking about this. So, volunteering is this is answering the question, I promise. I love watching people when they first start volunteering here because sometimes it takes people a little bit to do their first volunteer shift. You know, they don't know what it's going to be like. They're worried about it. Or am I going to be able to do what they're doing? Am I going to understand what's going on? People come in for the first time and they're a little shy or scared or something. They're feeling like, they have no idea what to expect. And as soon as I get them started, I make sure that everybody knows exactly what they're going to be doing. They know the big picture, they know the details. I have it's all simple activities. And once the first time they volunteer, that's the hardest thing to do is get them into the building. And then once they've done that first time, usually they come back. I would say because they realize what's going on. They realize how simple it is. They realize how good they feel afterward. And then they come back. So we do so many different things. Basically, we are a distribution center, right? So we get food in bulk. And then with our volunteers, we process that food before we send it out to the community. We process it in several different ways. We could be sorting the food. We could be labeling the food. We could be bagging the food. Like today we were bagging oranges. There were boxes of oranges that came in 40-pound boxes. Oranges came in 40-pound boxes, and we were just bagging those oranges into 5-pound bags to make them more family friendly. That's the activity for the day. Once I explain just the specific details, like what do you do when you find a bad orange, all that kind of stuff, I explain those specific details, and then I turn on music and we just go. We just bag the name of the game is we're bagging as many bags of oranges as we can this shift. That's it. And then people are like, oh, I can do this. And then, you turn on music and everybody just gets involved, gets going. Let me think. Later today, we're going to be labeling packets of frozen tortillas. We have tortillas that have come into us in bulk. And in the cases, they have a list of ingredients, but the individual packages of tortillas that come in these big cases don't have a list of ingredients on them. The only way we can send food out from the food bank is for it to have a list of ingredients on there. So it's a sticker party. That's what we're doing. We're taking stickers, we're putting them on the tortillas so that we can then send these individual packets of tortillas out to any one of our food pantries that we partner with. That is it. You're putting stickers on bags of tortillas. Sounds super simple. We just need the people. We need the people to do it. I take song requests for music, and I just go and let people do their thing for the rest of the shift. Sticker, 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 pack, pack, pack. Sometimes we sort food into different categories. Like, that's as simple as it is. There's no waiting around wondering what you're going to be doing once we get started. You're just, you know what you're supposed to be doing the whole time.
Yeah.
And you can sit down if you want to sit down, if you're tired. And every activity that we have is modifiable. So if you're like, I can't stand, I need a chair the whole time, perfect. We'll get you a chair and you'll do this part of it. So yeah, anybody can come as long as they're 8 years old or older.
Okay.
That was a big answer for a general.
No, that's great. Yeah, no, that is awesome.
It's
Lots
really
of good details there.
descriptive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. So how does one sign up to volunteer? And this is going on in the Idaho Foodbank warehouse in Meridian specifically. That's where you are, right?
Right. And I think that, yeah, other people can speak more specifically to Pocatello or to Lewiston, although I believe Pocatello does it a very similar way. We, on our idahofoodbank.org website, right at the front page of the website, you click get involved, or you hover your mouse over get involved, and then you click volunteer. Scroll down, it'll ask you whether you're volunteering with a group, whether you're volunteering for community service, or whether you're volunteering just as an individual or a family. And you click one of those things. Usually, if you want to get a group that's, 5 people or more involved, you click on get your group involved, and it'll have you fill out a form and it'll walk you through it. If you need community service, you click on that form and it'll walk you through it. If you want to volunteer with yourself, or like your, couple people in your family or friends or something like that, you click on individual/family, and it'll prompt you to make a profile. And once you make create a profile on our page, it'll give you a calendar of events, and you can pick and choose which events you're available for, which you want to go to. And if you see that they're full, keep checking, because people cancel all the time. And we don't have the calendar up for next year yet, but by mid-December, we should have it up. So if you're like, I don't see anything for January, wait, we'll get it up by mid-December.
Are you all usually pretty booked around this time during the holidays?
Pretty booked. We're pretty busy, but as I said, people cancel because they they didn't remember that this person had practice for band or something like that. I don't know when band season is, but or something, and they'll cancel, or this person got sick, and then all of a sudden we have spots open and people come in. But yeah, generally, starting in the new year, we usually have some spots open.
Yeah, and do you have to bring anything in particular? And are there any like rules you have to follow? What food safety, I imagine, is probably part of that, right?
But we go over everything as soon as the volunteers show up. Everybody's like, oh shoot, was I supposed to leave my phone in the car? Am I supposed to have a jacket with me? And they ask all those questions, and it's super relaxed. It's like, no, you don't have to bring anything. Don't worry about it. You can take your jacket with you, or you can leave it here, however you want to do it. I try to make sure people are as relaxed as possible to realize like, it's really just a fun time packing with your community and helping pack or serve your neighbors in need. No matter what you do here, that's the beautiful thing about this place. No matter what you do, you are doing good for the community. There's no question about it one way or another. This is not one of those gray areas. Is this good? Is this bad? Like, this is black and white. You're doing some good stuff for the community. You will feel good after this shift. You might have to stretch after this stretch if we do. But
you might be tired.
Might be tired. Yeah.
You will. We have chairs and you'll be fine.
Exactly. Wear good shoes. Wear good shoes.
Wear good
You're
shoes.
on
Wear
concrete.
closed-toed shoes.
Yeah.
Closed-toed shoes, no headphones. Like, and if you don't bring closed-toed shoes and you totally forget closed-toed shoes, we have extra closed-toed shoes. You just have to wear hairnets as socks. And normally people just forget their shoes once, and then after that they remember their shoes every time afterward. So yeah, you don't even have to remember your closed-toed.
What's that? You have extra shoes in Pocatello.
Oh, in Meridian,
no.
excuse me. What I did is I asked.
So no shoes in Pocatello. Is there anything else different about volunteering in like Pocatello or Lewiston? Is the experience pretty similar?
No, and in Pocatello we also use Volunteer Hub to sign up, and there are multiple shifts available during multiple times. And Shayla also, I don't know if Shayla takes song requests, she'll take station requests. If you're volunteering, if you're volunteering with me, we're listening to disco because it's safe. So it's disco or Disney.
What does Christmas disco sound like, or holiday disco? I don't know.
Holiday disco. Someone has done that, I'm sure.
We'll find out on Monday night because I'm running that volunteer group.
So curious.
We have to dig through Spotify a little bit to find it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I'd say same in Lewiston as well. Oh, Allie's in the dark. She didn't move
I know
fast
I've been
enough.
still for too long. That doesn't happen. There you
That's
go.
not normal for you.
Yeah, same in Lewiston. You go online, you sign up. I will say the difference in Lewiston is if you're a person that would like to maybe be more of a regular volunteer and be involved longer term, we actually have an on-site pantry in Lewiston where we provide food out into the community every Friday. And we do ask for volunteers for that role where they can specifically work with neighbors, just getting basic information, but also providing out resources and helping them through the pantry. We do just ask for volunteers on that side, though, that could have somewhat of a commitment because there is some more additional training that goes into that. But otherwise, same. We've got awesome volunteer shifts throughout the year and all over during the week and different times. So if there's not a time that works for you, we'd love for you to get a hold of our volunteer coordinators. Ashley's your gal up in North Central.
Yeah, she just took that over, and it looks like she's been doing a great job, having a lot of fun with it. Let's see. So, Kia and Morgan, do you have any like good volunteer stories? Have you seen anything notable or interesting or funny going on?
It's always
ahead,
fun with
Kia.
volunteers.
It's always great. People, it's just a lot of people trying to do good stuff. So there's always good stories.
Yeah, it's always fun.
Awesome.
I mean, I can't narrow it down to something specific. I will say Shayla does a fantastic job here in Pocatello. She makes it a great time for everybody. I think one of my favorite was when we first started doing Family Day once a quarter. And Family Days are on a Saturday that we invite families with kiddos as young as 4 to come in and do a volunteer session. It's scheduled for an hour. You might work for 45 minutes if you're lucky. And really it's easier projects for little kiddos. And it's more fun ways to get them involved in understanding what giving back to your community looks like. But the first one we did was chaotic, but that's okay. We had to learn something. The second one we did was actually in October, and it was right before Halloween. And so Shayla made it kind of a dress up thing. And watching those kiddos in their costumes and their parents who were also in costume volunteer was so much fun because there's one little boy who I think he was dressed up as Spider-Man. He was dressed up as a superhero. And like every time he went around to get something else, he'd make like his little superhero noises. I loved it. It was so much fun.
Yeah, that is cool. That's part of Scare Away Hunger.
Yes.
Which is a real fun one. Yeah, seeing the families and costumes is always awesome. And
I
so
love that.
you all did get different groups too, right? Like corporate groups will come in as well.
Yep.
Is that pretty? Okay, cool.
Yeah, lots of different. So if you have your church group or your business or an organization that you're with, please think of us as a great place to spend some time together while giving back to the community. And if you have special skills, too, like maybe you're retired, or you're just looking to use a special skill that you have, don't hesitate to reach out to our volunteer coordinators because we have a lot of specialized volunteers. I'll give a great example out of Lewiston. We have a gentleman named Jim, and he comes in and he makes the food pantry look beautiful for every Friday. And if you ask Jim, he's like, oh, this is awesome. Like, this is what I was set up to do because he used to work for Winco and he retired from there. So he makes it just look like a gorgeous shopping experience. And he just makes it so great for the whole staff and for the experience of the neighbors, right? So lots of different skill sets that we need at the food bank.
It's super cool. I didn't really think about that, to utilize specialized skills. So yeah, it's definitely a place for everyone who want to come in and volunteer. Like we talked about earlier, there are lots of other different ways to get involved, and we'll go ahead and start kind of wrapping up, winding down. So we talked about hosting the food and fun drives, talked about donating, supporting the various campaigns going on, and then in addition to volunteering. So again, head to our website, idahofoodbank.org. You can go to the events page to look at the current events going on. Feel free to support those as well. We have a couple of matches going on as well right now. Morgan, what kind of matches do we have going on?
Well, huge thank you to Dwayne and Lori Stickle, who just were our awesome matching partners for Giving Tuesday. That was a really impactful day of giving for us. So big thank you there. And we're really fortunate to have had two other folks step up with matches to end the fiscal year as strongly as we can. So Corwin Ford is helping support our holiday giving and has a match in place right now. And we just got word that Camille Beckman will also be joining us as a matching partner at the end of the year. So, just amazing. They are trying to give back to the community, inspire others to do the same. So just know that every donation has always gone a long ways, but we're able to make even more of that during this matching time of year.
Yeah, totally. Thank you to these wonderful people. Take a look at our social media, Idaho Foodbank. We are on Facebook, Instagram, X, formerly Twitter, LinkedIn as well. And we always put updates out there on all the matches going on, the events that we're doing and hosting. And we do like to give volunteers and donors shout outs when they come in to present checks or when they come in to volunteer. So yeah, we absolutely love to take your photo with the big sign. That's we have that in Meridian at least. And then we'll give you a nice plug on social media. So yeah, we'd love to have you all. We'd love to see you all get involved this holiday season. And like Morgan said earlier too, just throughout the year, right? There's always various ways to get involved, and we'd love to just maintain that connection with you all. So all right, thanks everyone for being here. Hope to see you on the next one.